happening, guys? My name is Russel Orhii, aka Russel. I'm a YouTuber and I am a powerlifter that competes in the USAPL. So my whole life I grew up playing football, and I was able to make it to the collegiate level where I walked on at Texas Tech. And at that point I decided that football was not the path that I wanted to go. So I switched on to just bodybuilding, and whenever it was time to look for a way to get a competitive outlet, I was just like, all right, you know, what can I do to compete with other people to kind of just like make my training more important? So I found out about powerlifting. I was like, yo, you could literally just bench, squat, and deadlift and put that on paper and like compete against other people. So I entered the USAPL and I started competing, and that's basically how I got into the fitness community. Before I started YouTube, there was Instagram, and I always used to watch people on Instagram. Like I used to watch their physiques and like kind of videos they used to put out, and I'm like, hey, this is cool. So I started squatting every single day, and I was able to kind of document that, and I used Instagram as my platform to do that. And as I started graduating on Instagram, I'm like, okay, these videos are a little bit too short, and I figured about YouTube. I started watching other YouTubers. I'm like, this might be the way that I'm able to document myself, and I just started documenting all my lifts, and it turned into videos and vlogs. And at that point I built a following, and people were able to follow me as I was documenting my lifting. I try to show kind of like my funny side. You know, I'm a very comical person inside the gym. I like to laugh, I like to play around a lot, but there's also a side of me where I like to be competitive with other people. I think that competition brings the best out of you. So what I try to emphasize in my content is like, look, you may not have the same ceiling or even the same level of progression as someone else, but you could look at someone else's starting point and see where they started at and see where they're at now. Understand that you can always be better than you were yesterday. So from the surface level, what I put on social media, everyone thinks that it's kind of like just like easy, it's fun, and you know, there's things that happen behind the scenes that you guys don't know about that make this a little bit harder than you think it is. Pull 635 for that heavy hold for 4 seconds. Now we're getting to work. So I normally don't do this, Joey. If you're watching this, I apologize, man, but today we're about to YOLO. We got 650. For a very long time, I identified myself as a football player. And whenever it was time to kind of move on from that point, I realized I only played football because that's what I thought everyone expected of me. So once I got to that point where I realized that football isn't what I wanted to do, I was fearful of quitting because I felt like no one would like me or care about me or care about anything I did after that. So I struggled with that issue of just kind of letting go and just doing what I wanted to do. So like I mentioned before, I walked on at Texas Tech and I realized I didn't have fun going to practice. I'd get terrible anxiety. This slowly built up, and it came to a point I literally just could not go to practice anymore, and I had to let the coach know, hey, going forward, this is not something I want to do. I'm just letting you guys know that I no longer want to play football for this university. So after I stopped playing football, I just kind of sat there and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do going forward. I felt like there was a rift period where no one was really there for me, but in realization, I was like, okay, like my friends are here supporting me. My friends actually do care about what I want to do, not so much as Russell, the football player. So at this point, I realized that I still had a love for fitness. You know, not every football player loves to get inside the gym and work out, but I still loved being inside the gym. And I started posting more on social media. My friends started encouraging me. My parents started encouraging me. They're like, hey, like we're starting to notice that maybe you just like working out. And I started to hone in on that interest. In an age where social media is all about me, humility is something that you don't find very often. Dominate humbly is a phrase that has lived throughout the whole powerlifting community. It is so easy for a strong person to just say, no, I'm not gonna mess with this kid, he's not at my level. However, in the powerlifting community, you find that you have strong people that are giving back. You have strong people that are able to kind of tell people, hey, maybe you should lift this way, or maybe you should add this to your technique, and that grows the community instead of stifling it. To me, Barbell Brigade is all about community. Every single time I come to the gym or I see any of their content on social media, I notice that it's not just about one person. It's about everything that makes up Barbell Brigade, everyone as a whole. What they do together is something that I try to replicate whenever it comes to my training. For me, dominate humbly means being a leader, being able to give back. Everyone can be strong, but not everybody can give back to the community. So basically what I try to do is make sure that I'm able to kind of give the information I have back to others that need it. Regardless of whatever your focus is in life, I try to tell people, make sure that you take each day as its own battle. Try not to get overwhelmed by the long-term goal, but focus on what can I do today to make myself better.